And we are back with the third segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And in this third segment, we are going to be looking at talking about the games that went down on Friday and recapping just how accurate my predictions were and whether I ended up getting them right, whether I ended up getting them wrong, and the teams that ended up winning in this matchup, of course. So I already talked about the Lakers beating the Suns. They ended up, I picked the Lakers to win this game, and I had full confidence in the offense. I had full confidence in LeBron and Anthony Davis, and they completely delivered. So I'm not really going to talk about that game all that much, but based off of the Suns' performance, I actually didn't really talk about the Suns in this game. Kevin Durant ended with 30 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. It just wasn't enough to beat the Lakers. Bradley Beal ended with 15 points, 9 assists as well, and didn't really shoot that efficiently, 6 for 14 from the field. Same thing with Devin Booker, did not really shoot all that efficient either from the field, and that was one of the big reasons why the game ended the way that it did, mainly because they ended up going on a slump when they really, really didn't need to go on a slump and when it was really needed of them to perform. So that's really all that I have to say about that game for Phoenix. Now, the next game that I have on this list is the Nets going up against the Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic. Now, the Magic, I picked the Magic to win this game, and they did not disappoint. They won 116 to 101. Paolo Banchero ended the game with 15 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. Didn't really have much of a dominant performance as I thought. However, he did get aided from Franz Wagner, who ended the game with 29 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. And he didn't shoot that many threes either in this matchup. He ended up going 10 for 19 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, and still ended up recording 29 points. It was a fantastic game coming in from Franz Wagner. Not to mention, Moritz Wagner ended up going 7 for 8 from the field with 18 points and 1 of 2 from 3. Now, the Brooklyn Nets, in this matchup, obviously Cam Thomas was the leading scorer. He's been the leading scorer for the Nets for a pretty considerable amount of time. 7 for 17 from the field, however, not really that efficient. Dennis Schroeder, 7 for 12, 20 points. And Dorian Finney-Smith ended with 6 for 10 from the field, along with 15 points. Cameron Johnson did not really have that good of a game in this matchup, 4 for 12, 2 of 10 from 3, but it does happen. I did not really expect the Nets to win at all this weekend. They ended up shocking me. That's some big foreshadowing. And really, not much that needs to be said because in this game I totally expected these results. Now, the Knicks against the Pacers. Now, I picked the Knicks, and I stuck with that pick. I was a little bit lenient because I had no idea how this game was going to go, but the Knicks ended up prevailing, and I will say the scoreboard and the score of this game definitely shocked me in this matchup. The Knicks ended up winning 123 to 98. Josh Hart ended the game with 20 points and 10 rebounds. Mikal Bridges, ended the game with 21 points and 5 assists as well. He also shot 8 for 12 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. So maybe he's figured out his new jump shot. We'll see. I have no idea. Jalen Brunson, he ended the game with 26 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, going 10 for 19 from the field. And Karl Anthony Towns ended the game with 21 points, 5 for 11 from the field, along with 15 rebounds to go with that. So in the starting lineup, 4 players on the Knicks ended up scoring 20 points or more. And really, when you have that starting lineup playing as well as they are, you really don't need that much production coming in from the bench, especially when the Pacers were playing abysmal tonight. They were absolutely horrible. Now, at an individual standpoint, Benedict Mathurin ended up going 8 for 13 with 20 points. Miles Turner ended the game with 13 points, 5 of 9. And Pascal Siakam ended 5 for 11 with 12 points. Now, they shot 3 for 30 from 3. That is not going to have you win a game at all in this league. Going 3 for 30 and missing practically every single three-pointer that you took. And the key takeaway in this matchup, Tyrese Halliburton. Halliburton ended the game with 0. That's right. 0 points. 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 rebound, and he went 0 for 8 from 3 and 0 for 7 from 3. 0 for 8 from the field, excuse me. I'm talking like this because that's where my microphone is, and I need to make sure that you guys hear that. So, all of you people that were saying that Tyrese Halliburton is better than Trae Young, where are you guys at now? Because Halliburton played horribly. This is Tyrese Halliburton. He had a little bit of a streak last season, but that did not mean that he was better than Trae Young, who's shown consistency. And I'm straight up laughing to the bank with this performance because Halliburton is not the best point guard in the NBA. He's not better than Trae Young. He's not better than LaMelo Ball. He's not a top 10 point guard. I'm sorry, but actually, he's in the bottom part of the top 10, but still, people were overrating him way too much last season. He is not that guy. And just letting you guys know. 0 points is absolutely ridiculous coming in from someone who's supposed to be a true point guard in the NBA. And people seriously thought he was better than Trae Young. Come on. Now, next game on this list, Warriors matched up against the Jazz. I expected the Warriors to easily beat the Jazz. They won 127-86. Steph Curry ended the game with 20 points. Andrew Wiggins ended the game with 10 points and 13 rebounds to go along with that. And off the bench, Buddy Hield in 20 minutes scored 27 points and also recorded 7 for 9 from 3. This system with Buddy Hield is absolutely incredible, and it's very, very dangerous. And while I will say that this was against non-contending teams, I'd still worry about Buddy Hield from outside the three-point line. But so far, these Warriors have been they have been playing pretty well, so far. Obviously, this is some foreshadowing to what happened last weekend, but a lot of Warriors fans, they're thinking that they're contenders just based off of these performances against non-playoff teams. To that, I say, ha, you guys are very funny. Your time has already expired. But aside from that, the Jazz, they played absolutely abysmal in this game. Nobody scored 20 points in this matchup for the Jazz. The best scorer was John Collins with 14 points. And, the rest of the team, they shot really, really poorly. 9 for 42 from the three-point line. That's not going to have you win games, especially against the Golden State Warriors, who love to shoot the three and have everybody shoot the three ball. They shot 20 for 50. When a team is making 23 pointers and you're making only 9, you're not going to win that game. So, next matchup, the Raptors, they ended up matching up against the 76ers. I predicted that if Paul George was playing in this game, then the 76ers would win. Paul George, in fact, did not play in this game for the 76ers. And because of that, I picked the Toronto Raptors to end up winning this game, and I ended up being right. The Raptors ended up winning 115-107. Kelly Oubre Jr. for the 76ers ended the game with 28 points, which is very, very efficient. And it's very good, and he also shot 9 for 17, but it still wasn't enough. Tyrese Maxey, I don't know what's up with Maxey, but he's turned into Kobe Bryant in this season so far, taking so many shots. I don't think he's taken less than 20 shots at all these past few games. He shot 6 for 23 from the field, 2 for 12 from 3, and ended with 24 points. Now, he did end up with more points than shot attempts, but still, 6 for 23 is is not that good. And 2 for 12 from 3 is also not that good. Again, 76ers ended up making only 9 3-pointers in this matchup. When you're only making 9 threes, it's really difficult to win. But the game was rather close because the Raptors themselves didn't shoot that well from 3 either. They shot 6 for 23 from 3. The big difference here was the lack of star power, in my opinion, and the fact that Tyrese Maxey was ball hogging a lot of the shots. And, he took 23 shots. That's a lot of shot attempts for one player. And to only have 24 points to show for it is less than ideal. And I understand that, he doesn't have Paul George or Joel Embiid to really help him, and, he doesn't really rely on anyone else to give the ball. I totally understand that, but still, if you're going to take 23 shots, you should at least score, a considerable amount. And 2 for 12 from 3 is also really, really bad. Now, the next game, the Cavs, they ended up easily beating the Pistons 113-101. I'm not going to talk about this game that much because I totally expected this coming in from the Cavs. Jared Allen ended 17-11. Donovan Mitchell and Dean Wade ended up scoring 19 points, and Garland ended with 13. Now, for the Pistons side, Cade Cunningham continues to drop 30 points and continues to lose. because his team is just not that good. So again, not really going to talk about this game that much because we are a little low on time, as well as the fact that, I totally expected this outcome, and all of you definitely did. Now, the Hawks ended up beating the Hornets in a very intense game between Trae Young and LaMelo Ball. Trae Young ended 38 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds, and LaMelo Ball ended with 34 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. So it was a point guard battle between these two, and I'm just going to say it, LaMelo Ball is probably better than Anthony Edwards. Probably. I'd pick LaMelo Ball if I were to choose between one of the two. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Miles Bridges in this game ended with 27 points as well. And Nick Richards ended the game with 12 points and 13 rebounds. Now, again, this was a very close game. Both teams played really well, and it really came down to the wire in this matchup. Now, the number one pick in the draft, Zachary Resacher, ended the game with 5 points, but nobody is going to really focus on that because a lot of people are more focused on Bronny James and his performance. So Rookie of the Year, at this point, it's still up for grabs for who's going to win Rookie of the Year. He also shot 1 of 5 from field, so not really that efficient. Now, the Pelicans, they ended up beating the Trailblazers on a game-winning block from Zion Williamson. Zion ended with 16 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. CJ McCollum ended with 20 points, and Brandon Ingram ended with 21 points. Now, for the Trailblazers, Jeremy Grant ended with 34 points. Fernie Simmons ended the game with 24 points, and DeAndre Ayton ended with 10 points and 15 rebounds. Again, I'm skimming through a lot of this because I don't really have a lot of time for this. Now, the two games that shocked me were the Houston Rockets against the Memphis Grizzlies and the Bulls against the Milwaukee Bucks. I picked the Grizzlies to win in this matchup. They ended up losing in a blowout, 128-108 in this matchup against Houston. And Sengun in this game had 16 points, 15 rebounds. Jalen Green ended this game with 22 points. Jabari Smith Jr. ended with 14 points and 16 rebounds. Dylan Brooks ended with 18. Everybody was in double figures for the starting lineup. And for the Grizzlies, it wasn't the only real star of this game. Actually, the two stars were Ja Morant and Desmond Bane. Ja ended with 24 points, but only 2 assists to show for it. And Desmond Bane ended with 17 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. A better all-around game, but still just wasn't enough to beat the Houston Rockets in this matchup. The rest of the bench for the Memphis Grizzlies is looking a little bit questionable. Jalen Wells shot 3 for 14 from the field for only 8 points. And Zach Edey, however you pronounce his name, I still haven't figured that out, so I apologize. He ended the game 6 for 10 with 13 points. So far, just based off of this last few weeks and these last few performances, he looks like the player that's going to end up winning Rookie of the Year. But again, it is still all up for grabs. Shepherd in this matchup did not really play well. He only scored 6 points, and so far this season, he's only been averaging 3 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists. Obviously, that's not going to get you Rookie of the Year. And the Bucks losing to the Bulls. This was another one that I did not expect, but then again, I should know better because Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham are two coaches on the Milwaukee Bucks. Damian Lillard ended with 28 points. Giannis ended with 38 points and 11 rebounds, but it still wasn't enough for this team to prevail against the Bulls, where Kobe White ended the game with 35 points, Zach LaVine ended with 25 points, and Vucevic ended with 22 points and 10 rebounds. And Giddey also ended the game with 17 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. They did shoot very well from 3 compared to the Bucks, who did not shoot very well from 3. And that's really the key difference between those two players. Now, I skimmed through a lot of it, and I skimmed through a lot of what I wanted to talk about because we are out of time. So we're going to go ahead and go into the fourth segment where I recap the rest of the games that happened over this weekend. So Saturday and Sunday. Stay tuned if you guys are interested.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.